Hey, welcome back to the program, Total Financial Solutions. Along with KHTS, your City of Santa Clarita candidate forum. We're learning about your candidates. These are folks that are asking to be elected, asking for your vote. Folks, one person, one vote. That's what City of Santa Clarita is all about. The idea really is that these are people that represent your values, the decision-making processes that they go through. You get it. You say that is necessary for us as a city to continue to grow. And these are folks that, look, it's not easy to put yourself as a candidate for any office, let alone City of Santa Clarita office that is such a broad area. So we thank these folks for stepping up. And joining us is Mr. Stephen Daniels. Stephen is a candidate for City Council. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Stephen, tell us a little bit about your decision, your choices, if you will, to become a City Council candidate here.
Well, it really is why I became wanted to become a candidate.
Yeah, what do you see?
It really starts out at a really genuine, innocent, you might even say, or even maybe a little naive as far as interest in doing something for the city. It was something as simple as the New Hall Library opening, and when they were doing it, my wife and I were there with our kid, and they were talking about, the city council was talking about having a budget surplus and how financially strong everything was. And after the opening, my wife and I were walking back to our house, and I said, well, if they've got this extra money, why don't they do something about the sidewalks on Orchard Village Road? A woman was killed on that road because she was walking in the bike lanes. And my wife, in her infinite wisdom, turned to me and said, well, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you run for city council? And it's sort of sprung from that.
Sure.
And and I know sidewalks don't seem like a big issue, and they're really, everything that's going on with the city council, but it's certainly something for me that, I tell you that because it started from a very innocent wanting to do something for the city.
Yeah, no, I like that idea because the concept of really driving home, if you will, serving others is a really big deal. Because city council, we're not a full-time city council. We're not like the city of Los Angeles where these guys make a six-figure income and have, budgets of another, tens of thousands for take-home cars and all of that. We're a service-oriented city. And give me an example in your current life and in your past life, if you will, that you have served others. What does that look like?
Well, I've spent really about the last 15 years working with nonprofits, specifically giving back to the community. Mostly, I lived in Hollywood for a long period of time, and I've raised funds for AIDS Project Los Angeles through their AIDS Marathon program. I've run 4 marathons. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have. And also, I've worked for the Braille Institute of America, helping assist people visually impaired. And currently, for 10 years, I've been working for Covenant House, California, which is a homeless shelter for teenagers in Hollywood. So, I think, it's important to always try to give back in any way possible. And it's just kind of worked out that I've kind of found a career doing it and found some real satisfaction.
When folks say give back, this is one follow-up question that really matters to me. What did the city give to you where you're giving back? Because if we're saying we're giving back, that means something was given to you. What did the group, the city, the community give to you to make that a part of your life?
I first came out here. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I came out here in 1993 to go to film school at Cal Arts. And 6 months later, the Northridge earthquake hit, and that was my welcome to California moment, by the way. And it was an interesting time because I really didn't know anybody out here, and I can remember standing in line at the Rite Aid, I think it was at the time, and trying to get some batteries for a radio just to listen to something and some fresh water. And the line was going way out the door down the line, and a woman came out, and the guy at the front said, "We don't have anything left. We're all out." And a woman already had her water, and she said, "Here, take a couple of bottles of water. Here's some batteries." And it just kind of stuck with me about the kind of friendliness and the sense of community that Santa Clarita has. And when I said I lived in Hollywood for a while, but when my wife and I got married, we were talking about where are we going to live? We're going to have a family. Where are we going to live? And it's just, I went back to what my experiences were during the Northridge earthquake, and I said Santa Clarita. I loved being there when I was in school, and it reminds me of kind of the small town atmosphere of when I grew up in Kentucky.
Nice.
Now, obviously, you have an amazing experience of contributing to the world in the many things that you've done and those that need help. But you also have an arts background.
I do.
Here being at Cal Arts, do you have passion for art that you think could be brought to this city in some way of serving youth and something else?
I'm I actually just met with President Levine of CalArts a couple of weeks ago to talk to him specifically about like how can CalArts get more involved with Santa Clarita. I think the arts. I'd like to see. I know that the city has an arts commission and everything, but I'd like to see more funding for the arts and see what we can do, particularly for the youth in this area. And one of the things I've talked about is there's a lot of talk about the juvenile delinquency, the drug problems out here with the youth, and I think a lot of that comes from a lack of interest and lack of things to do. And doing something, whether we have, creative places for creative thinking, whether it be something as simple as coffee shops with open mic nights or arts programs or anything that gives the youth something to look forward to express themselves. I think a lot of you look at juvenile delinquency, drug problems, vandalism, it all springs almost always out of boredom. And I think the arts are essential to trying to stop that.
So what about character? Boredom is one thing. Some kids create, they invent things.
Sure.
Other kids choose to damage other people's property. So when we go down that boredom, if we say, boredom equals crime and poverty, what can the city do to say, well, it's actually about your character and your integrity? You have the foundation of positive ethics, and it's based on something that's solid, and not a feeling or an idea. What can the city do to emphasize that? We have youth centers, we have skateboard centers, we have libraries we spend tens of millions of dollars on. We have a lot of things, but that character, where good is good and bad is bad, is not always present. What can the city do, if anything? Maybe they can do nothing.
I think it really kind of comes down to what you want to believe about kids. To me, having worked with a lot with disaffected kids myself, I don't believe people grow up to be bad or just be. I think, and most of us come out of a good part, and they just need to be encouraged, nourished. And the first thing I do, a lot of the city council candidates have said, well, we have a zero tolerance for vandalism. That solves things. Well, not really. You want to look at the source of what's causing that. Why do they feel compelled to spray paint something? Well, it's really probably comes down to some type of lack of a way to do creative expression and giving them that outlet. So I don't really believe that there's a character of badness in a youth. I just think they need to be listened to and to give them a chance to express themselves.
Well, those are great ideas. Stephen Daniels, I like the fact that you're bringing CalArts back into the community a little bit. It seems like they've been lacking a little in their involvement and things that they can do, so it's wonderful. Graduate of CalArts?
I am.
Graduate of CalArts.
Masters in film.
Amazing. Masters in film. Stephen Daniels, your city council candidate, a gentleman who wants to serve you here, folks. You got a chance to learn about him, his ideas, who he is as a person. Those are important things because your vote matters. Stephen Daniels running for city council here in Santa Clarita. Look, the election's coming up. You can do an absentee ballot. You can vote ahead of time. Everybody's busy. I got it. But your vote counts. Thanks for joining us, Stephen.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you being here, folks. Stephen Daniels, your city council candidate here on AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Arif Halaby, along with Mr. Mark Murphy. Total Financial Solutions for the next hour or so. We're going to continue to bring you candidates. We're all about delivering to you the ideas, the positions, who these people are. That's why Total Financial Solutions has teamed up with KHTS to bring that to your life. Thanks for listening. I'm Arif Halaby along with Mark Murphy. We'll be right back.